Hello and welcome back to the Nasty Metal Production Channel here at YouTube. Welcome to the third 70s Hard and Heavy edition of Album of the Week. So, for this third week, since this is the week that I kick off late 70s part of the month, it's better to kick it off with or spotlight an album that was released in the late 70s, like 1978. Though definitely not Stained Class by Judas Priest, but definitely obscure one that I don't own, would love to, and I know that sooner or later this album will get reissued through No Remorse Records, since they released this band's third and last full-length album last year, and I know that Vinyl Transmission went and spotlighted that album as well on his channel. That, of course, is Heavy Load out of Sweden, and I would have loved to feature this album in a Hard and Heavy episode. Would love to. But the thing is, I just don't own the album. However, I've listened to it many times online. But this is just a great album. A great debut album. That's, of course, is Full Speed at High Level. And the thing is that this band, you would have not really thought were from the 70s. But they were. And they really, again, this album was released in 1978. Right during that cusp of the beginning of that whole new wave of British heavy metal movement that was coming out of Britain. But these guys were out of Sweden, and they just made a great debut album. It's definitely a little different, but you definitely can still hear that trademark Heavy Load sound on the sound, though it's definitely just, again, it's there. Kind of like with Rock'n'Rolla by Judas Priest or Accept's debut, but the thing is, you can really, off the bat, just like on Motorhead's debut or High Voltage from AC/DC, you definitely kind of hear that sort of trademark Heavy Load sound to begin with, especially on the first track that starts off the sound, which of course is the title track. Anything like Midnight Crawler or Moonlight Spell or Into Winds or Into Minds, actually. I'm just looking far away from my computer screen. Rock and Roll Freak, and of course the last track on there, Son of the Northern Light. But Caroline's great. However, the thing is, when I first mentioned this album because I originally, when I was doing my band of the week instead of the album of the week, I did spotlight Heavy Load, and I will leave you to that one there. Actually, though, if you go into my channel and actually look at what's the channel trailer video, so it's actually the spotlight for the band, Heavy Load, the Band of the Week episode. But in that one, I do want to address this, that when I kind of briefly, in a way, when I talked about Full Speed at High Level and how I said that it was a progressive rock album, I actually pissed off two apparently diehard fans of Heavy Load, saying how I was wrong, I called it this and that, and it was all a heated debate. Well, saying that it's not. Well, the thing is, the album, it has a lot of progressive rock influences, like I think in Vinyl Transmission's video, spotlight for the remaster by No Remorse Records for Stronger Than Evil, he did touch that there was a lot of a classic rock influence. And this album, They take a lot of progressive rock influences, like mostly on the song Storm, which is pretty much 11 minute and 32 second track, and it's not really the most. It's the most proggiest song on the album because of it starts out very heavy and so, but the minute you get into the middle, it starts going. It really gets more slow. More melodic, almost kind of bluesy, but then it starts doing a lot of keyboards in there, and I really start to really think of the beginnings for like Journey on their stuff when they were kind of a progressive rock band, or thinking of like, of course, Uriah Heep. You think of, Uriah Heep, to me, were never really that much of a progressive rock band, but at the same time. But the thing is, when you look to the band, you kind of see how many people are prog fans, or, your prog fanatics were all considering Uriah Heep a prog band. And you kind of hear that. And they take a lot of influence from Uriah Heep, of course, on the whole entire album. Basically, it's like what happened if Judas Priest and Uriah Heep had a baby. This whole album by Heavy Load. But the song Storm, it just has this break that reminds me, or even at times of Rush, almost. But it's not completely, because I don't remember hearing a lot of keyboards, just straight up that from it. So Storm is the most progressive rock song on the whole entire album. But there is still some touches within each song. But it's still a great track, though. Like Rock and Roll Freak also has some of that there. But the time changes and everything, it's like, they all, and the thing is, when these two fanatics came in, it's not how it's not, and they all bring it up how it's not like yes or so. It's like, to me, it just led me to believe that I don't think these people really dived in much into the progressive rock genre to begin with, because there's much more to bands like Yes, or I know there's another band there. I know maybe like King Crimson, maybe, or right now, Yes seems to be the only band right now that seems to come to mind. Or, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. You know what? There's more to prog than just some of those bands that they just named. It's like, I just seem like that's all they knew about. When the thing is, there's a whole line of that. And the thing is, progressive rock as a genre, every band almost has a more unique sound. Some take on a more harder sound, and there is such sort of thing as like hard prog or heavy prog, and some of this sound in some ways what I guess will also classify under that here and there, such as when given a song like Storm. So already I'm giving you an example, but for those, it's not out completely, but they take a lot of influences from those bands because of at the time. That's also when these bands were listening to. You weren't given straight off the bat bands like Iron Maiden. You weren't given straight off the bat, Iron Maiden, like again, or Metallica, or So What. You weren't, or your new wave or British heavy metal bands like Raven or Tigers of Pantang. You weren't given that. Heavy Load, they released their album by the time when some of those bands were already starting to release anything officially. So you had to take with what you were given, and Heavy Load took what they were given, basically used it to their advantage, made something out of it, and basically this is what we got. We got Full Speed at High Level, and then they progressed into like the Metal Conquest EP that was released, of course, after this, and of course Death or Glory, and then of course we are then up to Stronger Than Evil, and that was it for the band until they released, in 1985, that Monster of the Night 7-inch. But that was it. This band basically made their sound and built it all around the classic rock bands from the early 70s. But so you're going to hear a lot of progressive rock influences on their debut. Like again, just like with Judas Priest Rock-A-Rolla, you kind of get already a bit of a progressive rock influence. And in some ways it almost has that going on. And so in a way, because of that, it kind of does almost what would classify as one. But I guess because of they're so fucking elitist that they don't want anything near that, when sometimes you have to be given with what you're given. So instead of acting like a fucking baby on my fucking channel. So with that, anyways, I just wanted to kind of get that around. But this is a great debut from definitely an underrated band. How long was I going for? Oh, about 8 minutes here. So almost over 8 minutes now. Anyways, great debut. This sound will hopefully soon be reissued by No Remorse, since they did Stronger Than Evil, and since they have touched on that they are going to be reissuing pretty much the rest of Heavy Load's catalog. So Full Speed at High Level is. And actually, let me also bring this one up. This year would mark its 40th anniversary, and No Remorse apparently also are looking into doing something special. So this album could very well be reissued here pretty soon. Actually, not soon enough. The album was released in November of 1978, so maybe by November, this album might get reissued. So I guess there's a little hints there already to look forward to. So with that, definitely a great addition for 70's Hard and Heavy Month, and a great debut for definitely one of the most underrated metal bands that come out of the 1980s for sure, but of course in the underground they probably might be considered overrated, but given the way that they are and that they've made so many great stuff, yeah, are they really that overrated? And they probably are deserving of that rating. Anyways, so with that, hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope you enjoyed this video. And for those who are getting in the heavy load, this might not be the best album to really start off with. Because I would say just start off with either the Metal Conquest EP or Death or Glory, or even Stronger Than Evil. But this is still a good album to check out for those who are really looking for that heavy or that hard and heavy sound of the 1970s. So until then, this is Free Thrasher Sam out. And I'll see you again real soon here with another, with my first UK late 70s hard and heavy video. So, take care everyone. Take care.